Hi guys, how's everybody doing? Good, I hope. I'm doing okay. I could be better. Got a little bit of bad news from my daughter. I just asked everybody to please pray for my daughter Mitra and her family. They need healing prayers now. So they're going through a difficult time, and it's so painful. So everybody's healthy, everybody's well and healthy, but you know, this pandemic, it's playing havoc on a lot of people, a lot of people. So I think a lot of us are having to learn how to be more together, and it's kind of difficult. So I ask for y'all to please say prayers for my daughter. They really need it. Okay, so I'm gonna not talk about that because I don't want to start crying. I'm going to talk about Michael Cohen. We're watching him. The first thing that we heard about him was that he went out and went to a restaurant and had, having a good time. It looked like they took a picture of him eating out at a restaurant. He's supposed to be on home detention, right? He was lucky to be let out of jail, and now we heard they put him back in jail because he had no business doing that. That wasn't part of the deal. Well, then we found out that was a lie, that they just put that out. He actually had permission to do that, and that had nothing to do with why they put him back in jail. So we'll start out with that. But I find it very interesting how far reaching that bar is. It's crazy. And how much he can mess with you. You do not want that guy on your shit list. That bar can do all kinds of things. Although he didn't get away with it, but he did dump him back in jail for a few weeks. He could have gotten COVID by the time he got out. But thank God, so far I've heard, nothing about that. So hopefully he's still healthy. On a side note, remember when my husband was in the hospital having his heart surgery, and we had a good friend that worked at the hospital as a nurse. She was an ICU nurse. She's an Iranian lady. Razieh is her name. She is the most kind, beautiful person you'll ever meet. You guys, she has COVID. She just told my husband this morning that she's been diagnosed with COVID. She's very ill. She said she's very, very sick. She's at home right now, but she said she has it really bad. And in the last few weeks, she has been sick. I think she was passing kidney stones or something, and she had a little surgery about that just recently here, I think last month. So she's been under the weather. She had something like the flu before that. She thought it was COVID, but now she does have. She told my husband 10 of the nurses from San Antonio, 10 of the nurses she works with have COVID. Isn't that horrible? So you guys, please say a prayer for her. She is a wonderful, wonderful person. She is good, kind, and loving. She's a great nurse. She's a great friend. My husband was actually calling her to bring her some figs and found out she's sick with COVID. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you so much. Go back to Cohen. Okay. Uh, I was looking at Cohen's personal year number, and he's on number one, which is so fitting for him. He's at the end. Last year was the end of the 9 cycles, and he's beginning a new cycle. It's a fresh new start for him. It's a time of growth and clarity, a time of reflection for him. And I think that shows that in his book writing. He's reflecting on, his decade with Trump, and it's time for him to begin a new path, to accept where things went wrong, to stand on his own 2 feet, which I believe that he's doing, and he's taking some risk, and that's good. This is the year to take risk and start new, plant new seeds and get new things started, to start the new cycle all over again. And that's what he's doing. I don't know if he'll have a license at the end of all this. I haven't read on that or anything. But he's starting over. He's starting his life over, even though he's not, really released from jail, but he's home. So he's already starting his life over. He's reconnecting with his core values, um, and basically he's taking back his power. That's what he's doing. He's taking back his power, and he's stopping the excuses. Stop making excuses and living his life and moving forward. So that's good. He's in a really good place for to begin anew. And we're reflecting that in what we see him doing. Okay. So that's really, really good. I'm glad to see that and hear that about him. Like I said, when I heard that he was at a restaurant, I was thinking, how dumb can he be? Why would he do that? Why would he jeopardize his freedom? I don't understand. But he had permission to do that. That's why he is not that dumb. He's been dumb, listening to Trump, following Trump around. But I'm going to get into that in a minute. Okay. I'm just asking Spirit, if is Cohen remorseful for those years that he worked with Trump and doing his dirty work? Is he remorseful for that? And what the answer that I'm getting is Cohen was like Trump's trained monkey. I think I've gotten this before, and that's what I'm seeing, a trained monkey. Monkey on a chain that's, trained because he wants the food. You give him the food and he does whatever you want him to do. So that was Cohen. And I think for him, it was the money. It wasn't the food, it was the money. He was, for Cohen, for him to be in a place where he could accept what was going on, for him, it's like, I'm providing a comfortable life for my family, and I feel like he was paid very well. And, money does funny things to you. It can, make you turn your face to injustices and things that you wouldn't normally do. And especially for a man, the man is supposed to provide for his family. And, also their head gets a little big too. But that's what I see was going with him. So as this went along, he did get a big head. That's what I'm seeing. He did get a big head, and then he started to throw his weight around. You know what I mean? And by saying that, then I see this. He was the elephant in the room as far as being, tied to Donald Trump. When Cohen was like the elephant in the room. Everybody knew what he was doing. Nobody said it. Okay. Everyone that knows Donald Trump and knows his dealings knows what Cohen was about and what he would do and what lengths he would go to. So it's like Cohen was the elephant in the room. He was the one that everybody was aware of, but nobody was talking about. Okay. So he was the fix-it, but until all this stuff started coming out, were you aware of Cohen? I wasn't. So that's what I'm seeing. Cohen himself was the elephant in the room. I'm going to repeat that over and over. And it was, the things that he did for Donald Trump, it was really hush-hush. But of course, there were some people that knew about it, but it was mostly hush-hush. Cohen thought he was so smart, and that gave him a big head. It really gave him a big head because he got away with so much, It's so funny when I read the book, that Mary Trump put out. And I have told y'all this before about Donald Trump. He is a manifester. Well, he was taught to manifest. And of course, they didn't use those terms back in those days. We're using it now. But his father told him never, there's never no. Don't take a no. Don't be a no. Don't say a no. He didn't let negativity come into the picture. You're never sick. Nobody's ever ill. Things are going to go fine. He was very, he took positive thinking to another level. But the problem with them was they took the compassion out of the positive. You know what I mean? It's all fine and good to have positive forward thinking and, to be inspired by that and help that manifest the life that you want to live. But there was no compassion in with it. So meaning if somebody else was ill, like Trump's mother was ill, Trump's father had no compassion for the situation. There was no compassion. It was, you're going to be fine, honey, suck it up. You know what I mean? He had, maybe there's something wrong with him. Maybe he just was they're missing that gene or something, the compassion gene. But Trump is just, that's how he learned to manifest, and he did it excellent. So when Cohen attached himself to Trump, um, Trump was basically teaching him how to manifest the way he had learned also. So things started going good and growing for Cohen, growing and growing. But Cohen didn't have the upbringing that Trump had. And there was cracks and cracks that are coming through with Cohen because he still had these compassionate feelings. Do you know what I mean? He still had that kindness and compassionate, but his head just got big. All right. And that is until he saw the light. That's what I'm getting. Cohen saw the light, meaning, he wasn't raised that way. And that's how a crack of light could get in, because that wasn't part of his being. He's got this compassion gene, he's not missing it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Cohen's book a little bit. I'm seeing a woman in it. I'm seeing a wedding ring. I don't know what this is about. I'm seeing a big ring. It's not a wedding ring, it's a big, like a statement ring. So I feel like there's something coming out in Cohen's book. It's going to be about another woman, probably other women too. But there's going to be something, maybe some jewelry that was given to her to keep her quiet, but it's something very significant, a big, big ring. And I don't think it's a wedding ring, but it's a super big ring. But it was just to keep her quiet. So there's going to be things like that coming out in the book. The way that the Trump was manipulating the situation. Of course, we know they had those non-disclosure, things that they had to sign, so they couldn't talk. But a lot of them, a lot of the women that he came in contact with and did things with, he gave them gifts. But this one particular is a big, big ring, and I feel like we're going to hear about that in Cohen's book. Cohen is going to write about that, how he didn't realize, of course, none of us can see what's going to happen in the future, but he didn't realize that he would be taking part in the fall of Americans, their values and their freedoms. You know what I mean? He was Trump's fixer, but he didn't realize that he would be taking part in this. That's what really, that's like what turned the light on for him even more, seeing what Trump is going to do to the United States. You know what I mean? That he's just shitting on our Constitution. So this was something that he really didn't want to have any part of, and he's going to write about that a lot. We're going to hear a lot about that. And he was actually really surprised that Donald Trump got elected. All this stuff is going to be in the book. He was very surprised about it. I haven't heard him talk about Donald Trump. I haven't watched him or anything at all. I know he was on some program. I heard that he tweeted something. I'm not sure, or an interview. I haven't read anything or heard anything from him, but that's just what I'm getting from Spirit. When Donald Trump announced that he was running for president, in Cohen's mind and Donald Trump, this was just a way to get publicity. You know what I mean? It kind of evolved and snowballed as it went along. But Cohen never thought that Donald Trump would be president. He really never thought it would get this far. He thought Donald Trump was just a blowhard, just talking and, just getting publicity. Okay. What else? We know. Oh, and I don't see Cohen going back to jail either. I want to say that. Okay. Also, I'm getting that Michael Cohen has some documents, some info in storage. I'm seeing like storage it's very damaging to Trump, and it's going to support his claims. All right. So when he writes his book and tells things, he'll have support for it. He can show support for it, and there's loads of it. It's in storage, so there's got to be plenty of it. Um, we may only get to see a little drop of it, so I don't know how this works. If how much can you reveal of if you're an attorney of somebody? Don't they have some kind of duty to protect information? I don't know. So I feel like we'll only get to see some drops of the information, but whatever he puts out, he'll have a backup for it. You know what I mean? He'll have documents that will support his claims, basically. And I don't feel like Michael Cohen, like I said, I don't feel like he'll be going back to jail anytime soon. He may serve out the rest of his entire sentence at home. I'm not seeing him going back to jail. Okay, so that's what I got on Michael Cohen. I'm going to talk a little bit about Biden and about his vice president pick. I thought by now Biden would have announced his pick. It's so funny that he didn't announce it. Why is he keeping it from us? What is going on? Okay, so I am going to stick with what I've said in the past. Biden would love and adore Michelle Obama to be his VP. I mean, and she would be perfect. She would unite the country. She could actually be elected as president 2 years after, 2 terms after that. To me, that would be perfect, and I love her so much. And I know, everybody loves her. What bad thing can you say about Michelle Obama? You know what I mean? She'd be easy to vet, and I'm sure, you don't even have to vet her. I mean, what are you going to do? They know everything about her. And there's no negativity at all. She hasn't served in any capacity to do anything wrong. The only thing she tried to do was make healthy lunches and made everybody bitch about that. Who cares, Change is difficult. She was just trying to change things for the better. She would be fantastic. She really, really, really would. So I'm going to stick with that. But so every time I ask Spirit who's going to be the vice president, who is Biden going to pick, she comes up all the time. But I don't know if it's just because I love her so much and I, wish she would be. So I don't know if that's interfering with what I'm thinking. Maybe it's wishful thinking. But when I asked guidance on this about Kamala Harris, Karen Bass, Susan Rice, and Michelle Obama. And what I came up with is Kamala Harris is like coming up, I did a private reading for somebody and she came up stronger than anybody else. Okay. When I was doing a reading before this reading, I got Susan Rice was very, very strong. She's very, very strong, and she is very strong, but she may have some baggage. And it's so funny because I saw Susan Rice in my vision. I saw her picking up like something like a big old bag and hoisting it over her shoulder. So that was either, and it looked like she was really strong. So I feel like she's really strong, but she's got some baggage. Okay, so that's what I come up with her. Kamala Harris is really coming up good for me right now. Okay, I feel like she would be Biden's next pick after Michelle Obama. That's what I'm getting. But like I said, I don't know if it's just wishful thinking on my part with Michelle Obama, but I really feel like Biden would love to have her. Maybe he's just holding on, hoping Michelle would change her mind before he announces his VP pick. And I don't know if she wants to do that, but that would be a perfect way for her to, get back at Trump and to make sure that her husband's legacy is intact, and then she could make her own legacy too. And wouldn't that be beautiful? We have the first female president in Michelle Obama. Maybe she'll run for president next time. I hope so. Because I think Biden's a one-term president. He's older now, and he'll be a one-term. God bless him and keep him safe and healthy. Y'all keep him in your prayers. that he'll be, safe and healthy and be able to finish out his term healthy and get all this crap turned around. It's just going to take a while. Trump's got us dug in pretty tight. All right, guys, thank y'all for listening to me. I really appreciate it. Please keep my daughter Mitra in your prayers and her family. I really appreciate it. Love y'all so much. Do something kind for somebody. It'll always come back to you. And I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye for now.